is Hannah Johnson. I'm a student at University of Houston Downtown, and today I'm going to read a book to you. The book is called Polar Bears by Mark Newman. A cool and interesting fact about this book is that Mark Newman's a photographer, and he actually took the pictures in this book. This book is also very fascinating and holds a lot of facts about polar bears and stuff I didn't know, and that stuff I feel like kids all over would be very interested and would love to hear. I also wrote a lesson plan to go with this book, and I feel like it's very easy to do. So it's a good book for any sort of lesson. And I did my lesson plan over 2nd grade. And I found it pretty easy, it wasn't bad. Let's get started. Polar Bears by Mark Newman. Polar bears are big. The polar bear is the biggest bear in the world. They're even bigger than the Kodiak bear. A giant male polar bear can weigh 1,700 pounds. That's about as heavy as a small car. Females usually weigh less than males. One polar bear was said to weigh 2,200 pounds. That's more than a ton of bear. That is insane. So they are really heavy. Polar bears are tiny. Polar bears weigh only 1 pound at birth. They will grow to 30 times their birth weight by the time they leave the den. A mother polar bear is not able to eat while she's nursing her babies from January to April. By then, the mother polar bear is very hungry. Wow, so that means the whole time the polar bear is nursing their baby, she doesn't eat. Polar bears are twins. Most polar bear mothers give birth to twins. Although polar bears do not usually hibernate, expectant or pregnant mothers do. Mating occurs in mid-spring, and females dig a den into a snowdrift in the fall. Babies are born inside the den in early January. The den is cozy, staying 40 degrees warmer than the frigid Arctic air outside. So polar bears don't hibernate, but if they're an expectant mother, they do. Polar bears snuggle. Baby polar bears will stay with their mothers for over 2 years, as she teaches them all the skills they will need to make it into adulthood. But being a baby bear is not easy. 3 out of 4 do not survive to see their 3rd birthday. That is very sad. Polar bears live only in the north. Unlike penguins, they do not live in the Antarctic. Penguins and polar bears never get to meet in the wild. Polar bears live in only 5 countries, all of which surround the North Pole: Russia, Canada, the United States, Alaska, Norway, and Greenland. Okay, so that means polar bears live in the North Pole and penguins live in the South Pole. So they'll never interact because they live on opposite sides. Polar bears are not really white. Wow. Despite what they look like and what most people think, polar bears are black, not white. Under all that warm, thick fur, their skin is totally dark. The fur itself is made up of clear, hollow hairs, sort of like hollow tubes that contain no color whatsoever. The bears look like they are white only because their clear hair reflects the light. Wow. Polar bears are patient. Polar bears are very patient hunters. Their main diet is a rigid seal, which is the most numerous seal in the Arctic. They can smell a seal's breathing hole in the ice. Then they wait silently until the seal surfaces at that particular hole. This can make a very long time since each seal has about 10 or even 15 different holes to choose from. Sooner or later, the seal returns and a giant bear grabs him. So they're very patient hunters. Polar bears are hungry. Polar bears like to eat only the blubber and skin of the seals and usually leave the meat, which is in turn scavenged by Arctic foxes. A bear can eat 100 pounds of seal fat at a single sitting. Sitting. Polar bears need to catch about one seal a week in order to stay strong and healthy. When the opportunity presents itself, which is rarely, polar bears will even hunt walruses and beluga whales. Wow. Polar bears are tough. Polar bears are masters when it comes to enduring blizzards and cold weather. They have tons of warm fur, even on the bottoms of their feet. But equally important is their 4-inch layer of blubber. With this combination of fur and blubber, almost no heat escapes from their body. Even when the Arctic temperature drops to negative 50 degrees Fahrenheit, a polar bear's body temperature stays at a steady 98.6 degrees, the same as ours. Their compact ears are very short tail further prevent heat loss. Wow. So their fur and their blubber help them stay warm in this very cold weather. Polar bears are fast. No other four-legged animal can swim as fast as the polar bear. They swim at a rate of 6 miles per hour. That's quite a bit faster than they generally walk. They can do They can do this because of their dinner plate-sized front paws, which are webbed and work like paddles. They use their hind legs to steer. Their great swimming ability gives them their Latin name, which also means sea bear. They are also good divers and can see well underwater. Polar bears are few. Although there are only 20,000 to 25,000 polar bears in the world, these are separated into 19 groupings, which are called subpopulations. Most polar bears, about 15,000, live in the Canadian territory. About 4,000 live in northern Alaska in 2 separate groups. There are no polar bears in the middle or southern part of Alaska. Polar bears are endangered. For tens of thousands of years, polar bears were the undisputed rulers of the far north. But now their existence is in jeopardy. Climate change is their single greatest threat. When the sea ice breaks up and melts earlier and earlier each spring, the bears find it increasingly difficult or impossible to catch seals. The result has been that in certain regions, fewer baby bears are surviving since their mothers are not as nutritioned. Pollution and the disturbance caused by northern oil rigs and exploration for oil and additional threats. The United States Department of the Interior declared that polar bears are a threatened species, the first animal to be added to the endangered species list because of global warming. Aww. And that concludes our book. This page just has some more facts, and this page is all about the author's notes. Well, thank you so much for reading the book with me.